into all of this. All right, you guys, we are live. What's up, you guys? We are back for another Make Money Mondays. If you're over here on Facebook, make sure to jump over here on YouTube. The link is pinned to the comments over here on Facebook. Listen, tonight's episode is for all of you guys that's joining me tonight that's in your 20s or 30s. When I was thinking about today's Make Money Monday, I was thinking about, man, if I could go back, I'm 44 now. And that's why I am employing you guys, if you're in your 20s or 30s, to listen up to tonight because I'm 44 and I got these gray hairs now. And, my kids are getting older. My oldest is 14. But I think about it when I was in my 20s and my 30s, and there's a lot of things that I wish I would have done differently. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about tonight because I took down a whole bunch of notes. Look at all these notes here. And I specifically want to give them to you guys as you either, are sort of consistent with coming on these lives, or maybe this is your first time finding this channel. I want to bring you value. So who am I? My name is Jamil Frazier. I'm the founder of a company called Think Life is Different. I've been on an entrepreneurial journey for over a decade, and it took me about 5.5 years to reach seven figures. It took me probably about 7 years to reach multiple seven figures. And then after that, it got to where it's at right now. And so I feel like I'm fully qualified to come and talk to you about the things I'm going to be talking to you about tonight, because this stuff is not theory for me. It's not because I got on a whole bunch of YouTube channels. Well, I did study YouTube quite a bit. But it isn't because of that studying that I'm bringing you this information tonight. It isn't just theory. It's theory plus application, which has made me a practitioner over the last decade. So everything that I talk about, I can assure you are things that I've actually done. So let me just kind of give you guys a couple like like hard hitters at the beginning so that you can have this and put it into your psyche. Number 1 is investing is the great equalizer. Let me say this again. Investing, investing, not making money, not saving money, not working hard, not having two jobs, not having three jobs, not trying to get a raise, not trying to picket, not trying to have higher minimum wage, not about who you vote for. It's none of that stuff. It is one thing that is the great equalizer, especially if you're in your 20s and your 30s. Look, man, I grew up on welfare. Like a lot of you guys know my story. And I know that there's a lot of circles around that, like a lot of us wasn't born with a silver spoon in our mouth, right? Like just talk to me in the comments. Were you born with a silver spoon in your mouth, a golden spoon, a platinum spoon? Most of you, if you're like me, you weren't. Like it's if you're in your 20s and your 30s and you probably have student loans. Like you didn't have you weren't given all the stuff, right? So you are starting where you're starting, and you got to walk where your feet are planted. And but investing is going to be the greatest equalizer for you. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is like we can use in life, man, especially for you guys who are 20 and 30, you can use a lot of excuses, a lot of excuses. One thing I literally hate is excuses. I can't stand the people that make freaking excuses about everything. I'm not where I want to be because my parents didn't have money to pay for my college. I'm not where I want to be because I'm black. I'm not where I want to be because I'm a woman. I'm not where I want to be because you fill in the gap, right? I'm not where I'm behind because my parents got a divorce. I'm being and listen, like don't log off. I'm giving you the game, but I'm just telling you is if you feel that way, if you feel that way, then there is a great equalizer. And what does that equalizer mean? Like the great thing about investing is there's nobody to hold you back. There's nothing to hold you back. There's no like person that's going to hold you back. There's no system that's going to hold you back. There's nothing, right? You could be a woman, you could be black, you can be what's the like what is the what is the correct way to say like little person? Like you could be a little person, you could be you can be anything you want to be. You can be anything. And if you're feeling a little bit disenfranchised, if you feel like somebody or someone has done you wrong, let me just tell you the great equalizer is investing. Okay? So that's one thing. Here's the other thing is if you do feel like that there is something that's holding you back, right? So like I'm thinking about me in my 20s and 30s, and I think about the things that I truly felt like were holding me back at that time. The things that were holding me back were like my boss. My boss was holding me back because his name was Vadim Zitzer, and I was in pharmaceutical sales for a bit, but then 2008 happened and the economy crashed, and they let go on one day, on one phone call. They let go of like 5,000 of us sales reps. We work for Johnson and Johnson. And I took a couple months off. Listen to my mindset, right? I was broke, and I'm talking about taking a couple months off. And then I got a job in medical sales. And when I got a job in medical sales, I had like four managers all within probably 10 months. And one of the managers was this guy named Vadim Zitzer. And it's so funny because at the time I could not stand him. But if I was him, I I I would not have wanted to manage me. My mindset was so warped. And I just remember thinking, I can't get ahead because of this dude. Right? So, like, if you feel like there's legitimate reasons as to why you can't get ahead, maybe it's the debt that you're carrying right now. Maybe it's your parents got divorced. Maybe you have a boss that's similar to my old boss, Vadim. Maybe it's maybe you grew up without a tremendous amount of means. Maybe you got married a little bit too young. Maybe you had kids a little bit too young. Maybe whatever it is, right? Here's what I'll tell you. In your 20s and 30s, you want to figure out a way to limit all those damn excuses. You want to figure out a way to literally get rid of them. And the one thing that really helped me was this little formula, and I want you to write this down. And this formula is correct for you as an individual, it's correct for your community, it's correct for society. And it goes like this. The formula is called E plus R equals O. Repeat that back to me. What is that formula? E plus R equals O. So here's the amazing thing about life. Life is going to do what life does. Let me just say this again. Life is going to do what life does. And it's not going to wait on you. It's not going to wait on me. It's not going to wait on the next presidential election. It's not going to wait on any of that stuff. It has been doing what it's been doing for millions of years, and it's not about to stop now. So you, just like me, are dealt a hand, a deck of cards. And your job is to not try to change the deck of cards that you were dealt. It is what it is. But your job is to get really, really, really good on manipulating the deck. And this little formula called E plus R equals O is how you're going to do it, just like I did it. Literally 12 years ago, I was broke, broke. 10 years, 11 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I was starting to ascend a little bit. But we're in 2025 and 2014, your boy was broke. And I was in the middle of paying off $100,000 of debt broke. Okay. So, how did I start to do that? Is I started to learn this formula, E plus R equals O. I was sitting in a tiny apartment building, and I was listening to a mentor of mine. And once his YouTube video went off, another YouTube video popped up. And the YouTube video popped up of a man called Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield was a co author of these amazing books called Chicken Soup for the Soul. And when this video came up, he gave me this little formula, E plus R equals O. And he says, Jamil, the events in your life are just that. They are the events. They've already happened. There's not much that you could do about them, right? So you've already have grown up on welfare. You've already have gotten married. You've already have gotten your wife pregnant sooner than you anticipated. You've already have signed for some student loans. You've already like the events that have happened in your life, they've already happened. You've all those things, and they're never going to stop. Tomorrow, you're going to wake up and it's going to rain. There's going to be some car accidents. You're going to have somebody cut you off on a freeway. All of those things are totally out of your control. And those are the things that you tend to focus on, just like me. I wish that these things would change. That is a waste of damn time. What you need to do is learn that the E's are the events. You can't do anything about it. It's already happened and it's going to happen. It's never going to stop. Like I told you, life has been lifing for millions of years. It's not going to stop. There's going to be sexism, there's going to be racism, there's going to be all of these things, and it just is what it is. Okay? You're going to have these student loans, you're going to have this debt. Like it is what it is. But you can manipulate it. How? The R. So the R in the equation is how you are going to choose to respond to the event. And you could choose to respond like a loser, or you could choose to respond like a winner. When I started looking at back in my life in my 20s and my early 30s, what I started to notice was I was responding to these events like a loser. Thus, I had a loser's mentality. Thus, the things that showed up in my life were loser status. No savings, no investment, a wife that wanted to leave me, couldn't get the jobs that I really want, couldn't make the money that I want to make. Why? Because I responded like a loser. I didn't even know that I was responding like a loser. I just responded like a loser. So you have to take control of that R. What does that mean? It means that when an event happens, you could choose to respond in a way that is negative, or you could choose to respond in a way that's positive, that's actually going to move you towards your desired outcome, or you could respond in a way that's going to move you further away from your desired outcome. So, what I started to get really, really good at, and please listen up if you're in your 20s and your 30s, is I started to get really, really good at when these events came up. I started learning how to shift the way that I looked at them. And instead of it being against me, I started to be able to see that it was actually for me. And because I started responding that way, now moves us to the O, which is the outcomes. The event would happen. I would respond in a way that actually moved me closer to my desired outcome. And because of that, I would start getting more favorable outcomes. And once you stack those day after day after day after day, at the beginning, it doesn't look like much is happening at all. But over time, guess what starts happening? You start stacking successful days, you start stacking successful mindsets, you start stacking successful outcomes. And then all of a sudden, people look at you and they're like, damn, how the hell did you go from a 700 square foot apartment to buying a $2 million house in like 6 years? Because you learned to do one thing that most people don't know how to do, which is control your R. Okay. So investing is a great equalizer for you. And number two, you have to stop with making excuses and you got to start to learn how to manipulate events. And the way that you do that is you use that formula. So I wrote down 6 things that for you, if I could go back and be in my 20s and in my 30s, what I would do now. Listen, I'm 44. I didn't start investing until I was 34. Okay. So it's only been 10 years. And in that 10 years, we have invested multiple 7 figures across a lot of different disciplines. It's been extremely diversified. Now, I'm going to talk about some of these right now, some that I really love. But listen, I'm taking myself and I'm putting myself back into your shoes. So, the very first thing that I would do if I was in my 20s and my 30s is I would just stop and I would look around me and I would look at what are most people doing with their money. Okay. Like my friends are inviting me out. We're having a good time. Nobody's really talking about it. Like I'm buying bottle service. I'm going out to the clubs and to the bars. I'm having fun. I'm going on trips. I'm going on cruises. I'm doing like all this stuff, right? I'm waiting for the weekends to come. For me, I was going to Las Vegas. I would go to LA and then I would go to Mexico. And it was this little triangle with my friends. Okay, with my friends, the Champagne Campaign, and my crew, the J Crew. And we would go to Vegas, we would go to LA, we would go to TJ, Tijuana, Vegas, LA, Tijuana. And I would, and any money that I had, I'd be doing that. I want you to stop and pay attention. And I want you to start thinking, what are most people doing around me? And whatever those people are doing, I want you to turn around and I want you to do the exact opposite. Okay, like I literally wherever the crowd is going, I want you to do the opposite of what the most people are doing. I and that might be a rule for life. Whatever most people are eating, I want you to eat the opposite. Whatever most people are consuming, I want you to consume the opposite. Whatever most people are reading, I want you to read the opposite. Whatever most people are spending money on, I want you to do the opposite. When they start buying um, and leasing cars and they're getting into incredible debt, buying 20, 30, 40, $50,000 vehicles, and they have monthly payments of 500, 800, $1,200. I want you to do the opposite. Whatever these people are doing, you do the opposite. Okay. Like when they go to bed at 1 and 2 in the morning, I want you to do the opposite. You go to bed at freaking 10 p.m. Toes are up. Okay. Wait, and you're like, Jamil, that sounds boring as hell. You know what success is? Success is boring. I'm telling you, success is like doing the same thing over and over and over again that is going to give you a predictable outcome. And you know what failure is? It is doing the wrong things over and over again that's going to give you a predictable outcome. It is literally the same formula. One moves you closer and the other one moves you further away. And what I'm telling you is in your 20s and in your early 30s, most people are doing stupid stuff that's moving them further away. So I want you to do the opposite. So, number one is you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision that you want to be really successful. You have to make a decision that you want to be rich. You have to make a decision that you want to be wealthy. You have to make a decision that you want financial freedom. You have to make a decision that this, like, it you don't just stumble into this. It isn't just going to happen because you watch a YouTube video and it sounds nice. It isn't going to happen because a neighbor won the freaking lottery. It isn't just going to happen because you come from a successful family. It isn't going to happen because you went to a college. It isn't like this thing when it comes to your personal finances and financial freedom and financial intelligence and investing. This is something that literally, like, you have to force it to happen. You don't just stumble into millions of dollars, right? Very, very, very few people do. The large majority, 99% of millionaires are first time millionaires, believe it or not. They were not inherited this money and you have to plan to be successful. And that comes down for making a decision. Why is the decision so important? Because if you don't make it, then you'll easily get swayed into doing stuff that people that don't make a decision do. Okay. You're going to be easily persuaded into buying stuff you don't need. I'm telling you guys, man, like, especially in your 20's and your 30's, you're going to try to keep up with all of your friends. Even when it comes down to engagement and getting married and having kids and buying that first house and like all that stuff, you're going to be around that group of people and you're going to be watching what these people are doing. And what they're doing is systematically getting themselves into more debt. And what you got to do is turn around and go the other way. They're going to be buying a whole bunch of clothes that they want that they don't need. They're going to be buying a whole bunch of jewelry that they want that they don't need. They're going to be going on trips that they want but don't need. Okay, they're going to be spending $30,000 on a wedding that they want but don't need. They're going to be having kids too soon that they want but they don't need. They're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff that literally makes no sense if your goal is to be really successful and be financially free. So, number one is you got to make a decision. Number two is you need to develop a formula to where you start paying yourself first. I never, ever, ever want you. Here's the deal. And I don't know what you do, but the majority of you guys that's listening to this might be small business owners because a lot of people that come to the channel are, but you might have a job. I don't care if you're a small business owner or you're getting a W 2. What I never want you to do again is I never ever want you to get paid and think about paying somebody else before you pay yourself first. That is no. I look at yourself right now and just say no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Feel my energy. No, no. Never again am I working and going to work for a dollar and then get that damn dollar and then give that dollar to somebody else. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. 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 It don't even make sense. It don't even make sense. Why the hell would I spend all that time working and then I get my paycheck and then my whole paycheck goes to other people? And I don't keep any of it? That's just stupid. That's not even bright. That's what I did for a long time. For a long time. But it's like, bro, you get your paycheck, then you go pay your cell phone bill, then you pay your rent or your mortgage, right? And then you pay your car note, then you pay your utilities, then you pay the gardener, and then you pay then you pay like all this stuff. And you pay your credit cards. And then you pay God. And you pay like all of these things. And then at the end, you look up and you don't have anything. That is the epitome of stupidity. Okay. Like, that is not bright. Why would you trade all of that time for a dollar and not even keep any of it? Nothing. Like, you didn't save anything. You didn't invest anything. You didn't put anything away for the future you. You didn't put anything away for you to you right now. Like, why would you it doesn't even make sense. So you got to start paying yourself first. I recommend that when you get paid, that at least 10% of that paycheck goes to you. Goes to you. So if you're getting paid $1,000 a month, you got to keep at least $100 of it. If you're getting paid five G's a month in your 20's and your 30's, you got to keep at least 500 of it. 500 of it needs to go to your savings. Okay. And another 500, right? We got to keep at least 20% of that money. So if I'm making 1,000, I got to put 100 away into savings and 100's got to go. I got to invest that other 100. If I'm making 5,000 a month, 500's got to go into savings. I got to invest 500. If some of you guys in your 20's and your 30's are already making 10,000, if you're making $10,000 a month, 1,000 has got to go into your savings. Another 1,000's got to go into investing. Why? Because don't you don't you don't you honor yourself? Don't you love yourself? Right? Like don't you love yourself more than you love Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Toyota, BMW? Don't you like why would you pay them before you pay you? So you'll pay Lexus $800 a month, but you don't even pay yourself $800 a month? You respect them more than you respect you. So you'll pay the bank for your mortgage. You'll pay them $2,500 a month, but you won't pay yourself $2,500 a month. So you respect them more than you respect you. You love them more than you love you. This is I see this as a love issue, right? Like once I really started thinking about it, it's like, oh, I don't really love myself that much. Like, I put everybody before me, and I'm the one that's working for it? No. 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 Here's what we're doing. I'm getting paid first. Like, Imma pay myself right now in my savings account, and Imma pay my future self in my investing account. And then all you other jokers can get a part of this money. But ain't nobody getting my money before I get my money. I'm the one that stayed up at night. Oh my God, I almost felt like crying right now just thinking about what it took. I'm staying up every night. I'm thinking about my marketing plan. I'm thinking about the sales I need to make. I'm thinking about the company I need to extend. I'm thinking about the seminars I got to put on. I'm the one that's doing the work and I'm not going to keep any of my money? Nah, ain't going to make sense. So number 2 is you got to pay yourself, okay? So in your 20s and in your 30s, stop paying them before you pay you. Well, Jamil, you don't understand. I don't make enough. This is a value problem. Once you start to love you more than you love them, I'm telling you, this isn't going to be a problem for you because I did not value myself. Ain't no way today that I will ever make a dollar and give that whole dollar away to somebody else. Why? Because listen, I don't need a lot of validation. I don't. I validate myself. That's why I don't need to wear fancy stuff. Look at me. I done had this damn hoodie for 10 years. I pretty much wear it every day. Why? Because I don't need anybody to validate me. I validate me. I validate myself. I think I look good. I think I like my face. I like being with me. I'd rather be with me than anybody else. Like I love me a lot. A lot. And because I love me a lot, you and nobody else is getting my money before I pay myself. So that's a value problem. If you're not paying yourself first, it's because I honestly believe you don't really love yourself like that. To be honest with you. Number 3. All right, here's the deal. I want you to number 3 is you're going to have to be hyper intentional with paying off your debt. Okay, so number 3 is paying off debt. Some of you guys blow my mind with how much student loans you have right now for the craziest majors ever. You majored I saw somebody majored in I was watching a USC football game the other day, and this dude had majored in, like I mean, communications is bad enough, right? Like, I have helped people, get out of debt that were $120,000 in debt, and they majored in communications. Um, 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 why? Why? Anyway, don't even get me started on that. We gotta pay off the debt. We have to pay off the debt, okay? So, the way you pay off the debt is you have to get hyper intentional about it. This has to become like the thing that is more important to you than all of the things that you're spending money on right now. That's just a want, not a need. Why? Because the money that you're spending on things that you want but you don't need, and this includes drugs, by the way, because a lot of you guys right now got terrible habits. You're smoking a lot of weed. you're smoking cigarettes all the time, you're vaping, you're all the things. And that damn habit is money that could be paying off this debt. Why? Because I need this money to pay off this debt so I could use this money to start investing, because investing is what? The great equalizer. Like some of you and some of you guys have really expensive habits that aren't serving you. Talking about you don't have money. Yeah, you do. It's just going to things that you probably should not be doing. Okay? Now, whether that's porn, or you're going to pick up streetwalkers, or you're smoking weed, you're drinking way too much, you're doing all sorts of stuff right now. That alone is thousands of dollars a month that could be making you money for doing nothing. So we got to get hyper intentional on paying off debt. Okay? Like I don't really have any vices. That's what's crazy. I tell my wife all the time. I go, "Look, I'm not the best dude that's out there, but shh, I'm home every night. I'll have one drink and be laid out. That's how much of a lightweight I am. I don't do any drugs. Like, like, uh, I'm so grateful that I don't have any like habits like that would take my money away, right? Like that money could be going to your future kids, to your grandbabies, to all this stuff. And I hear people talk about all the time, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have any money. I'm like, yes, you do. Your weed habit is keeping you broke. Yes, you do. That's why I told you guys I hate excuses, because it's just a damn excuse. You do have it. You're just spending it. You're gambling it away. Okay, like you're going down to the casino. You're putting friggin' $300 times 10 on black, and black ain't hitting. Or maybe black is hidden, right? I don't even know, red, whatever the hell you're doing. But you got to stop doing that stuff. Why? Because that money could be going towards paying off debt. You got to get hyper intentional on paying off debt. At $100,000 of debt that I need to pay off between basically 2013, excuse me, 2013 and like 2015. So I got hyper intentional on it. How did I do it? Well, I kept paying myself that 10% into savings. The other 10% that I normally would be investing, I just kind of kept that there. And I put that towards the minimum payments that I was using to pay off the debt. In the same time, I upped my income, which I'm going to tell you how to do in a second. And I did not waste money on frivolous things. Okay. So I brought my expenses low. I scaled my income. I took the excess that I normally would be investing if I didn't have a ton of debt, and I put that on top of the minimum payments, and I went ham for 2 years. So I know that it can be done if you get hyper focused about it. Okay, so we got to pay off the debt. Number four is, after you pay off the debt, remember you have just spent probably months paying a large chunk towards this debt. Now, what I want you to do is, once the debt is off, take that large amount. Do not raise your lifestyle. Okay, this is not the time. So take that large amount, then start investing it. Okay, take that large amount and start setting it to the side, whether you are putting that aside and just letting it grow in a high yield savings account, whether you're putting that into some sort of low cost index fund. Okay. Or you're just, those are the two things that I would do. And I would let that money grow until I have enough for a down payment. And then I'm going to buy either a duplex, I'm going to buy a fourplex, or I'm going to buy an apartment building. Okay. And I'm going to live in one of those dang units, and I'm going to rent out the others. And I'm going to have these tenants pay for my living. Well, Jamil, is not like a sexy neighborhood. If that is your response to me, you don't you're not serious. Well, Jamil, like it's too far from my parents. It's too far from my in-laws. It's it's okay. E plus R equals O, because this is just for a season. A season, you got a lot of chapters that's about to come up in your life. And this is just one small chapter in a really big book. And what we need is this foundational chapter so that we can start stacking on. So when I bought my first place, I was like, yo, I'm only staying here for 2 years. Now it turned out to be a lot longer than that, right? Like I bought it in 2015 and I didn't end up moving from there to 2020. But when I ended up moving, I moved from that first house to a $2 million house and I kept my first house. How did I do that? I stacked chips. And then when I bought the $2 million house, everybody was like, "Oh, do you need to sell your first property?" I was like, "Hell no, I don't need to sell it. That's why I bought it, because I knew it was short term. Like I didn't buy it so that I could sell it. I bought it because it was going to be the foundational piece to the portfolio, not because I was trying to stay there forever." So when you use these excuses, you don't want it. That's why I don't like, when people are like, I told you, if you're serious about it, you're going to have to get inconvenience. It's not going to be sexy, it's going to be necessary. And you're going to have to inconvenience yourself until you're not inconvenienced anymore. That's why I told you, you got to go left when most people are going right. And then what's going to happen is, because you've gone left, right? And you're going to start stacking chips, then people are going to be like, uh, they're going to be like, "Oh, um, you're the few that made it out." It's like, nah, bruh, everybody can make it out. Ain't everybody want to do what it takes, so. And so they're going to use excuses to you and be like, "Oh, you're the outlier." No, no. You're only going to be the outlier because you chose to do a whole bunch of things that other people are not willing to do. And it's going to be easier for them to say that you're the outlier than for them to say, "No, I need to do what Johnny is doing, or Sarah is doing, or Hakeem is doing, or what Jamal is doing," right? Or what Arvin is doing. So they're going to say that you kind of escaped and you made it out, right? Like you're the outlier. Nah, bro. You're not the outlier. Everybody can do it. It's easy to do. It's just easier not to do. So buy that first property, okay? Like struggle for a little bit, have other people pay your mortgage down, start stacking more chips. Literally do the same thing. Do not increase your lifestyle. Don't go buy a freaking car that's going to give you a monthly payment. Don't do none of that stuff. Don't buy no timeshares. Do not incur more debt. Okay. Now, you might be married at this time, and your significant other is going to try to coerce you into the things too. No, you stand your ground. Stand your ground. In your 20's and your 30's is when you want to. Oh my God, please listen to me. If you do this in your 20's and in your 30's, by the time you're 40 and you're 50, you are going to be free. Okay. You're going to be free. So, number five is raise your income, not your lifestyle. So, how do you raise your income? Making money is not hard. Okay. I need for you to know this. Making more money is not the problem. The problem is you don't know how to make more money. Let me just say this again. Making more money is not the problem. The problem is you don't know how to make more money, and you don't need minimum wage to go up to make more money. You got to get that limited thinking out of your psyche. Oh, if they would give me more, I would have more. That is a poor person's mindset. That's a poverty mindset. That is a passive mindset instead of an active mindset. Do you know how much money you can make while you're waiting for somebody to up minimum wage, or while you're waiting for somebody to give you a raise, or while you're waiting for the next you know presidential nominee. Do you know how much, you guys? Okay, so like let's just take 2015 to 2020. That's a 5-year time period. Who did we have? We may have had a couple different presidents during that time, right? Like my income 10x during that time. 10x. Do you know how stupid it would have been for me to be waiting? I still be waiting. Yeah, it definitely 10x. 10x in a 5-year time period. So you don't need to wait. You don't need anybody to give you anything. You don't need to have your loans like suspended. You don't that's poor people stuff. Okay? That's poor people stuff. Trust me. That's poor people stuff. You don't need to wait. What you need to do is learn how to be more valuable. Learn skill sets, more skill sets. Okay, that's how you do it. Every year that you go into a new year and you don't develop new skills is a waste of time. And then you're walking around wondering why you're not making more money. Like how could like if I was stuck at like $4,000 a month, that would drive me crazy, right? Like $3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month, 40,000 a month. I remember I was stuck at like $24,000 a month, and it drove me crazy. It literally drove me crazy. Why was I stuck at 24? Because I didn't have the skills to move past 24. And I had to learn one skill. You know what that skill was? I had to learn how to get really talented people to work together. I had to learn how to get really talented people to work together. That was why I was stuck at 24. I didn't know how to do it because I wasn't a very good leader. And then I remember I was stuck at like 30 something for a while. And I was stuck at 30 something for a while because I was terrible, and I'm still not that good at it, but I was terrible with systems. Like I was really good at doing what I was doing, but I wasn't good at systematizing the business. I didn't know anything about it. I still don't know anything about it, but I sucked at it. But I had to learn how to get at least a little bit better with it so I could break through the 30s. Okay, like so you making more money isn't a challenge. What the challenge is you're not learning new skills to become more valuable so that you can make more money. You're probably doing the same thing right now that you've been doing. You're probably making the same phone calls that you have been making. You're probably driving the same way to work that you've been driving. You're probably showing up to work the same way you've been showing up. You're probably shaking people's hands the same way you've always shook hands. You're probably speaking and having conversations with people the way you've always have had them. You're probably waking up at the same time that you've been waking up. You're probably at the same BMI that you've been at for like a long time. You're probably thinking the same way that you've been thinking. These are all skill sets, folks. You're probably lending the same amount of value to your organization that you've been lending, which probably isn't that much. Like you probably got a frown on your face the way you've been having a frown on your face. Can you develop a better smile? Can you develop a better handshake? Can you become more personable? Can you become a better leader? Can you learn how to raise money? Can you learn how to sell something? Can you learn how to fulfill? Can you learn how to create? Can you learn how to can you learn how to code? Can you learn how to edit? Can you learn how to Market, that's a big one. Can you learn how to develop a winning spirit? Believe it or not, that's a skill set. Can you learn all the skills that it takes to become good with managing money? Can you develop a skill set of planning, of bringing ideas to the organization, not just showing up and saying, "Can you point me in a direction? What am I supposed to do today?" No. No, 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 no. Can you actually come to work and say, "Listen, I've been thinking about how we can 2x our revenue, and I wanna go over it with you." Do you ever do that? Or do you just show up and, like, do your same job over and over and over again? If you do, it's gonna be hard for you to make money, right? But if you get better on you and learn new skills, I am telling you, you will learn more money, and people will pay you a hell of a lot more, gladly will pay you. Gladly. But if you sit around and you got a poor person's mindset and poverty thinking and you're lazy, and you show up the same way, you shake hands the same way, you introduce yourself to people the same way, eh, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So you gotta raise your income. And I would start that by setting income goals, which is another skill. Goal setting is a skill set. You know, most people don't even set goals. They just get up. You just get up. Well, what am I striving for? I don't know. Not much. I'm just going. You don't have any income goals for this year? No. You don't want to expand? No. You don't want anything greater? Not really. I mean, I'm good. I got my trailer. I got my boat. I live in a middle class neighborhood. Um, like I'm dorming with friends. I'm splitting the rent. I could pay my bills. Setting goals is a skill. Number 6. So make more money, but keep your lifestyle the same. Take your income from $3,000 a month to 9. Take it from 5 to 10, 15. But keep your expenses super low. Do not go get new stuff. Okay? Live, you hear it all the time, below your means. And people are going to make fun of you. People make fun of me all the time. They probably still make fun of me. Jamil, why are you wearing that? Jamil, why you cut your own hair? Jamil, 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 right? Like, they're like, "Why are you driving that Prius? I thought you were supposed to have some money." Prius is paid off. The $700, $600 that I'd be spending monthly on this, that's what? $6,000 a year. That's $7,200 a year that I could be investing. If I invest this and I make 20% on it, I just made $1,400 for doing nothing because I decided to invest this money instead of spending it on a stupid car note. And if I do that this year, what can I do next year? And then what can I do next year? If I can make 1,400 for doing nothing this year, damn, I wonder if I can make 4,000 next year for doing nothing. And then I wonder if I can make 20,000. Then what if I can make 40,000 for doing nothing? And then what if I can make 60,000 for doing nothing? Why? Because I'm not spending my money on stupid stuff and I'm investing it. Wow. What if I could get to the day to where I make $100,000 a year for doing nothing? What if that could go to two? Do you know where we're at now? You know where we're at now? It's a hell of a lot higher than $200,000 a year for doing nothing. Why? Because you start small. Do not despise the days of humble beginnings, my friend. Number 6, invest in the stock market. And we kind of talked about that a little bit too, right? So buy that property, live in that mug for a little bit, move out, have all those tenants pay that. You go to the next house, and then take the excess, increase your income. Now you got 2 pieces of real estate, right? And you're still investing. And I start putting that into the market, even if it was $1,000 a month. If you invest $1,000 a month, my friends, you're in your let's just say you're in let's just say you're 30 years old. Okay. If you invest $1,000 a month, I want you to download something called the compound interest calculator. And so I'm putting in $1,000 a month at 10% interest. And let's just say you're 30 and we want to do that for the next 30 years, just $1,000 a month. You're going to have 2.2, almost $2.3 million. Okay. And if you did half of that, $500 a month, you'd be at what? 1.1 million something. Does that sound difficult? I told you investing is a great what? Equalizer. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't care. The stock market doesn't care. It doesn't care how you look. It doesn't care what your background is. Doesn't care if you can read. It doesn't care if you can spell. It doesn't care if you're black. It doesn't care if you're white. It doesn't care if you're a woman. It doesn't care if you're trans. It does not care. It doesn't even know. You know, my kids have hundreds and thousands of dollars, and these people are like 6 years old, 10 years old. It doesn't even know. It doesn't care. What it cares about is your habits. Can you be different so that you can live differently? Which is why I call my company what? Think life is different. Why? Because I told you it all originates from your thoughts. If you think like a poor person, you are going to have a poor reality. I see it over and over again in individuals and in communities. And these people still think that if they just cry about stuff and you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't gonna happen. If you think like a middle class person, then that's what your habits are going to be. You're going to have middle class habits. If you think like a poor person, you are going to have poor habits. If you think like a wealthy person, you're going to have wealthy habits. Thus, and you're going to have a wealthy outcome. It all originates from your mindset and how you choose to see the world. I gave you the formula. E plus R equals O. If you keep looking at events as if they are against you. Why is this happening to me? I'm in my 20s. I got to pay back all these loans. I got to live with like 3 or 4 people, right? Like I'm having a hard time finding the job that I want, earning the income that I want. Those are events. And if you look at them like a poor person does, then you're going to keep struggling. You need to learn how to control that R, and you need to respond differently, and you need to see it for you, not against you. That is what winners do. And if you want a winner's life, then you got to start thinking like a winner and doing what winners do. And I told you, when you see these people going left, you need to go right. Okay. So listen, investing is a great equalizer. Go on. If you have enjoyed this at all and it's helped you at all, go on and give this video a thumbs up. Would really appreciate it and would help the channel. Go on and share this with people that you think this would really make an impact in their lives. That's why we do this, right? And then continue to follow me here. Go on and follow me over on Instagram as well at the real Jamil Frazier. I do this every single Monday. We drop a new podcast episode here on YouTube every Sunday, and then you can catch me throughout the week dropping gems. Again, if you want to listen to people that's demonstrated that they're actually doing or have done what they're talking about. Do not get caught up in listening to people who are just theorists. You want to listen to people who are practitioners. Until then, we will see you on the next one. Have a good night